Rugby League puts the Trans-Tasman Trophy on the line in the 1999 ANZAC Test from Stadium, Australia. Preparation for the Kiwis was less than perfect. They lost Quentin Pongia and Tony Pulitua, forcing a reshuffle of the starting 13. But those hiccups were minor compared to the furore over kangaroo hooker Craig Gower's sacking for drunken behaviour, which was initially covered up by team management as a training injury. Well, the subsequent truth being discovered, the media frenzy really took the focus of the test away from the Australian camp because they were fielding a new skipper and Brad Fittler and reintroducing Glenn Lazarus to the test arena. So all thoughts turned back to the previous 12 months when New Zealand had gone into the first test at Albany as underdogs and won. So could they rise to the occasion and do it again and claim the silverware? Let's find out in Vodafone Rugby League on Sky.
From Great Britain, he just waits to get the call. Stewart coming. 9 internationals in all for him. And right down in front of the post for Lowry to bring it back and turn in the tackle as Lazarus and Tallis try to hammer him. First up, Joe Vagana quickly and quite strongly over that advantage line, already out to the 30. Good, quick, sharp play of the ball for Logan Swan to continue on. That again has been a key in recent years for victories for New Zealand. Just that battle to get to their feet nice and quick.
Very important that they roll out and give Stacey Jones all the room as that time he gets a good kick away.
And it breaks away from Wendell Saylor. Doesn't have a lot of space. Good chase, so a solid start for New Zealand. Down the right end without any mistakes at all. Daly. Webke stood back a little, wasn't really motoring over that advantage line, took it a bit flat. Lazarus gets to that advantage line and he just keeps on pumping out towards the halfway. A switch back for Robbie Kearns. And they'll be happy to settle now on their last tackle as well. Without any mistakes, Langer to find some open territory. Easy bounce though up for Richie Barnett. And it's been a great luxury for the Kiwis in more series. And what that is, that they've always either had Matthew Ridge or Halligan as far as maybe wandering onto the stadium with 8 or 10 points in the pocket.
Yes, Graham, it's amazing that probably 3 or 4 months ago coming into this test, Frank Endicott's plans evolved around some 8 or 9 players who are not out there tonight. And all the pressure on these young, inexperienced players as they come up against a formidable Australian side.
Midfield bomb from Henry Paul and getting away from Matt Rogers, who puts it down. Rogers not happy with his start, but a terrific early opportunity for New Zealand.
Well, it's a beauty kick, and the fact that 5 metres before it came down, it started swirling and spinning away, putting all sorts of pressure on Matt Rogers, just couldn't judge where it was coming down.
Nice and quick from Stacey Jones. Brilliant touch. What a combination. What a start. Just the first mistake of the game, and New Zealand make them pay dearly. Jones and Robbie Paul after the kick from brother Henry. What a setup.
Well, I don't think the Australians were ready. The ball's just popped out super quick. Stacey Jones has taken them on his own and slipped by Lockyer. And easy, Robbie Paul backing up brilliantly.
Yes, nice little step there from Stacey. They turned the scrum too, so it opened it up. Just watch the little fella dart out now. He's got a beautiful little step. There it is. And in the little slippery conditions, there's been a little bit of rain. Gordon Tallis just can't come in. What about that pass? Henry Paul, Robbie Paul, Stacey Jones. They're going to be the 3 out there to ignite it for the Kiwis, and that's a great start from the 3.
Unbelievable. Right in front. Maximum start for the Kiwis, 6-0. He's got it out the back so quickly. Tallis made good territory from that back of that scrum. But great strength for such a little man to pop it up. Nice early shock. Everybody was talking about the Kiwis getting away to something solid over the first 10 or 20. What a flyer, what a bonus.
Absolutely. I think too in these type of games, in test matches, usually the outcome isn't dependent upon luck or the bounce of the ball. It's purely just the skill and the fact that it's tenacious out there, and those players who can make the half breaks and support and come up with points, they're the team that's going to come out on top.
Well, this is a superb start. Forwards are gaining territory. Joe Voganaar, Jason Lowry just with that strong surge. Extra smart play of the balls as well. It's all happening, Toddy.
Well, it is a great start. And as you say, once you score a try, though, it takes a little bit of pressure off you too, which is fantastic. Now, you can just see the confidence in the Kiwi side. As you say, they're hitting up, sticking to their game plan. They're going to hit it up 3 or 4 and get a good kick and chase, exactly what they've done. Try and pin the Aussies down here and force a mistake. Great stuff.
Absolute maximum here as far as the in-goal zones are concerned. That's why they are so deep. And Lockyer with that battle just to get back into play. Webke with a bit of a slip. Just a feeling that the Aussies are back on their heels a little. Now there's the chance to spread. Daly with the quick call. Sailor, a little bit of room. You just can't give him an inch. Stacey Jones quickly across in cover. Pressure for Fittler to take the kick and to send it down to Barnett, who positioned himself magnificently. And he went back looking for support from Hoppy. Bit of a struggle for Hoppy after a slow start to the season, back from injury, and then all of a sudden finds himself in a test match.
Well, I know the Australian camp, they feel that perhaps they can find some weak links down with Hoppy or young Vainikolo.
Lots of early ball for the Kiwis. They're full of confidence at the moment. And they're being allowed easily to pick up territory. Jones just back across the other way. No problem this time for Matt Rogers. Bit of an ironic cheer from the crowd. Kearns. Bit of a surprise. Normally you see a Chris Anderson coach side, like we've seen the Melbourne Storm, hitting it up at pace over that advantage line like Lazarus, but Webke and Kearns and quite a few copping punishment for standing flat.
Well, I think the Australians too, they know that these Kiwis are going to be tough. They know they're going to be physical in the tackle.
There's the inch we talked about. He was just upset by Ruben Wiki. He needed to be. Langer with big numbers wide and quickly. Lockyer to try and get it out there. Great ball for Rogers. Here's the comeback from Australia. Darren Smith as they turn on the razzle-dazzle just 5 metres away. On the last to maybe go to the other sideline. Fittler kicking deep in behind Hoppy. It'll be too strong, so they survive, but their first real chance, and they came up sharp as well.
Some good play by the Kangaroos. That time Willie Talau rushing up out of the line, and the back's able to get in behind. A good break by Jason Smith, just running on through. In the end, coming up short though.
Vainikolo goes right up the middle looking for some work. Just plenty of spinning from Henry Paul. You see a lot of running from dummy half from the Paul brothers. Maybe Stacey Jones as this game wears on as well. Lowry, that ball looked to be thrown forward deliberately. I was going to suggest that Stuart Cummings may even have been tempted to ping it for a penalty.
Well, it would have been a harsh call and just getting themselves into trouble. Had a player just standing in the road and a ball that didn't come back cleanly. Hopefully it's not an error that will cause the Kiwis some problems.
Put on the ball both sides. The ball's miles away. Hold it there, fellas. Hold it there. Hold it there.
Just an inch in it, I thought. Right on the 40. Now here's the chance for their cleanest set of 6 right down deep. Langer finally finds a tunnel. There's a boot in there from that scrum to try and upset it. Daly to the outside of his man. Now inside for Sailor. McCracken over very quickly. And great cover also from Logan Swan. Bit of a slowdown in the play of the ball. Lazarus, he's been the one motoring over that advantage line. Good ball on all tackle from Lowry. Webke. This time he's travelling better. Langer cutting out Tallis. Good quick hands. Rogers puts down another one. Goes looking for Barnett. Former teammates at Cronulla. Finally gets him at about the third attempt. Got to be a bit of confidence growing, Tony, for the Kiwis, with some simple mistakes coming from the Australian side.
Yeah, they're making uncharacteristic mistakes, the Australian side. As we already see a few changes. Big Joe Wagner's come off and Terry Hermanson's gone on, and also Steve Price for the Australians. So they're making the changes early, but still New Zealand playing with a lot of confidence out there. You know, they're just going forward in the forwards. You'll see Terry Hermanson there just taking it up, settling it down, sticking to their game plan. And even Stacey Jones from the sideline here looks to be talking a lot more, controlling things, telling his players where to go. That's a great sign.
Head-on shot there from Jason Smith. Pretty even. Kiwis have spent an extra minute downtown. Call comes from the touch judge. It was Jason Smith who raked that ball out. He tried to put the good shot on Nathan Kalis, Neil's teammate, and just getting the hand in there at the end to drag it out. So good support for the referee from his touch judges. Down they come again. Hermanson. Good tackle low, just outside the 20. Lowry allowed a little bit of room. Jones going inside again to Robbie Paul, and Barnett from the back. Good set piece, just 10 metres away. Henry Paul with a step, covered up on the inside by Price. Well, the bench is into this test match pretty quick as well. Logan Swan with a bit of a step. He straightens, finally slips as Lazarus tries to slow him down. Another quick play of the ball. Jones kicking back. They go back out towards Rogers' wing again. Who wants it? Can they unload? Kalis puts it down. Rogers picks it up. They might have him over the sideline. They'll get it back from the scrum again. So they keep on heading out to Rogers, and they keep on opening up a chance. Really testing him out.
Fantastic patience from the Kiwis, working the ball either side. Vainikolo almost getting that ball away to Kalis. Two-man come over the top.
Good defence from Vainikolo to give him another opportunity. Let's remember, this is where the scrum was opening couple of minutes that found a try. Jones looking for something similar from Robbie Paul as he goes to Willie Talau. Logan Swan showed it inside. Just a one-hander for Robbie Paul. Now for Wiki. Wiki with the dummy. Great strength against Saylor. Two big men coming together. Just short of the line. Robbie Paul, Henry Paul. Nice and wide for Stacey Jones. Now inside for Kalis, and support from Lowry. Confident ball support in this opener from the Kiwis. Stacey Jones. Willie Talau stands, then unloading nicely. Henry Paul, he'll do it. Lowry thought about it. He's got time to go to McCracken, but the Australians keep their line. They didn't overcommit themselves, made the Kiwis play at that line. Weki, McCracken, you'll get another chance. Head down inside the 10, but it is down to the last. It's been all Rogers wide, and Rogers it will be again. Barnett climb. The Australians play at it and push it dead. So again, that ball was real trouble, and under it all, the number 5 of Rogers.
Stacey Jones having a good success rate with the kick. The Kiwis persisting with turning the ball inside. Plenty of support players there, and you get the feeling that one of these players will soon find a gap.
Lazarus gets a spell. Anderson already on the line, down sideline to his troops. Never seen the Kiwis control it so well in the early stages of a test, Tony.
Well, you know, it's just their forwards are going forward, aren't they? You know, look at big Terry Hermanson, and bounces in. There goes Jason Lowry, and that's what sets up a game. If you've got a good set of forwards who are going to get in there and work for you, I mean, the backs will love it. And that's why Stacey and this man here have got so much room to move.
They've completed 10 sets as opposed to just the 4 from the Australians. Barnett. Tremendous defence on Vainikolo. Outstanding from Darren Smith. Jones. Kalis. They are fully testing this defensive line, giving it a real workout. And right at the finish of it, they cough it up. Sloppy play, the ball and all. So often, though, you see these situations, penalty can go either way. Such a push and shove affair.
Well, the Kiwis are actually getting over the top of the Australians, getting up and playing the ball quick, but this time just a hand in there. Brian Fletcher's got it holding down, pulling by the scruff of the neck. All to no avail, though, for the Kiwis as the Aussies come up with the ball from the scrum.
Not a lot of handling mistakes just against the Kiwis. Can't help but think, as we've seen so many players rushed out early already, somebody who gets the bench right in a tough, hard match, so often the winner in the modern game.
I think so. Glenn Lazarus, an important role he has to play in this match. He'll probably be spelled as he is at the moment, and when he's out there, he's just got to really lead this Australian side, get him going forward, get him going over the ad line, and the rest of the blokes like Callis and these guys will follow him.
Barnett. Good strong tackle from Andrew Johns down low. Powerful hitter. Vainikolo. Have to come so openly. The slowest play the ball. The Australians were asleep. Absolutely turned their backs. Can you believe it? This could be something quite remarkable. Henry Paul, what a run. Wake up time for the Aussies. They rush the short side. Willie Tallow. Remarkable. Haven't seen anything like it in a big game. Joe Vagana. He stands inside the 10, finally put down. Hermanson to turn his back and try and swivel out of the tackle. All the opportunities, all the possession. They've got to make them pay again. Got to come up with some more points. McCracken might. Wiki might. Outstanding defence from Saylor to rush off his wing. They get back in numbers, deep in goal. And another good kick. Can you believe it? Even more possession. Brilliant play. All set up by Henry Paul.
Henry Paul, what an absolute beauty. I haven't seen a run like that since Martin O'Fire for the Great Britain side. Scooted some 80 metres up the field, turning players inside out. Henry Paul on that occasion, and that is what he's required to do. Him and his brother, Robbie Paul, the more they can get their hands on the ball, off a variety, not just from dummy half, but from 2 or 3 wide, catching the Australians all asleep.
Andrew Johns. Got to be tired. Been making so many tackles, defending their own line. Hermanson. Robbie Paul. Just accelerated for a moment. Sighted a gap, thought he was going to get through. Jones. Back on the inside. Working players inside and out. Matt Rule will play it just 5 away. Barnett staying in the line. Looking for somebody to come short out wide. Doesn't matter, he'll stand and go back to Hermanson, who's allowed to straighten right in front of the post and set it up for Jones and company on the last tackle. Once again, Rogers! It just wasn't high enough. They'll go back quickly to the 20.
Good variety, though, in the kicking game from the Kiwis. Really testing out Matt Rogers. He's a great player, but everything going on his side.
Outstanding from McCracken over the top. It just needed it to be a little bit higher for Vainikolo to climb. Cossett. 40 away, relieved to get away from their own end. Langer. Fittler. Amazing trait, though, of this side to soak up all the heat, so much heat, and then come back and really hurt you with one of their own.
Exactly, and the Australians will just bide their time as long as they can keep their fair share of territory.
Not a good kick from Lockyer. Way too easy for Barnett. But a good chase. Fine tackle from Kosef. Hoppy away from one. Robbie Paul. They've been hurting them right up the middle from that dummy half area. Out of there so quickly, Matt Rua. Joe Wagner saw them coming and got it over the 50. Bit of a push in the back. Well, that's the first real mistake. Still alive as it goes back. Somebody's got to put it downtown. And it was a mistake from Richard Swain out over the sideline to give everybody a bit of a chance of a breather, with the Kiwis leading 6-0. Ball was always travelling back, but Richard Swain, who's just got out there, nearly made that mistake. And just behind Saylor. This scrum settled right on the 20. Australian feed. Saylor, just the one real half chance, nearly turned it into something big. Look at the number of tackles they've had to make. All that possession for the Kiwis, and as good as they've looked, straight away you go back and think, scoreboard's not enough with all of that.
Well, it's not. Just watching Andrew Johns come to the bench, he's been getting for a power rate of work on defence.
Everybody caught inside the 10. As Lockyer gets things restarted pretty quickly. Toddy Barnett's come back to the bench. Is he okay?
Yeah, he just come off in front of me there in the document to him. He's got his puffer machine out and he's been puffing on that. So obviously an asthmatic, and the game's been so fast. So Henry Paul jumped into fullback. And just if those Paul brothers are just, every time they touch the ball, you think something's going to happen. They're just so electrifying.
It's a little bit like Langer when he gets involved. This is his domain, the 10 metres. Good quick hands. Fletcher taken nicely by Ruben Wiki. Play the ball was nothing special. Neither was the play from dummy half from Price. Put it down to the effort, but put it down to the big effort early from the Kiwis, who have got them on their heels.
Well, the pace of this match has been good. Stephen Price just coming out there, and just a simple fumble from dummy half.
Certainly eased things for New Zealand. I must admit that was my concern with Richard Swain out there. Not that I don't think Swain's a good player, but I was concerned with your original decision and selection of having a specialist hooker on the bench. I just didn't believe it really gave you that right utility value.
Yeah, same, Graham. I thought perhaps here with Richard Swain maybe starting the match, it offered you a bit more variety to bring on some of your game breakers. And at the moment, with Henry Paul being at fullback to cover Richard Barnett, who's on the sideline, those type of variations could well work in the Kiwis' favour as the game wears on. And some of these big Australian forwards do seem to be tiring a bit and are a bit shocked by the power game and the pace of the way these Kiwis are getting over the advantage line.
Jones under pressure, couldn't get a real good kick in, but they again show their hand like a magnet. Wherever Rogers is, that's where they send it. And that pressure has caused the errors from the Australians. Lockyer inside, Fiddler left behind and couldn't be tidied up. So make that 4. Just another one to tick up.
Kangaroos having success on the right-hand side. I felt Brad Fiddler probably passed that ball just a shade early. Put all sorts of pressure on his other player. They're just a bit out of sorts, the Kangaroos, so far, Graham.
Well, we talked about it. Everybody's been talking about the massive controversy over here. Everybody's full of the facts. After Gower was dropped from the squad for disciplinary reasons, suggested cover-up by team management. Maybe it is on the back of the brains. Robbie Paul nearly lost it as he took off. He will not be lost by Jason Smith. Joe Wagner. Just threw Alan Langer away before Darren Smith put his shoulder into it. Jones, Lowry. Plenty of work from him in this first 40. Back it comes. Henry Paul just thinks about 1 point, early days. Oh, Rogers nearly lost it again. Got it back at the second grab. Mightn't have been anything wrong, though, with just that 1 point psychologically.
Well, it is. It's good play. I thought going into this match, 1 point was an important factor if either side was prepared to take it.
Grabbing all the meters up the middle. Doing the hard work. Now it's Brian Fletcher's turn, one of the stars for the Sydney City side in the premiership this season. Saylor. Away from the sideline, but it showed you the enthusiasm there. Down that short side. 4 in there in cover. This one sent straight down to Henry Paul. He goes back to take on Saylor, who grabs him over the top. And will just be penalised for standing over the top. Just a slight suggestion of pushing him back down with his knees.
Well, Saylor's been good in this match. Plenty of work on his side. That time just kicking out with his leg. And a bit of frustration perhaps creeping into this Australian side. And I know when you're out on the wing and you're watching some of the blokes inside, you struggle a bit. You want to take it into your own hands.
Have the lead by 6. They've got the penalties. Everything's falling nicely for them, but time to get the scoreboard attendants to do a bit more work, Toddy.
Yeah, they are, but they're playing a great game, the Kiwis. You know, they've had a lot more possession than the Australians. They're doing a lot more with it. They're still, as I say, hitting those balls up in the forwards. But as I was saying before, the 3 little men, Stacey and the Paul brothers, they're the difference out there. They're so smart, so quick thinking, and it's really catching the Aussies off guard.
Matt Ruhr did well to take it under that powerful driving tackle of Fletcher and Fittler. Swain over smartly to go back to Stacey Jones. Logan Swan goes without. Wiki doesn't. Gets in behind them. Great ball up, and Hoppy put it down. I don't know that he was expecting it up so quickly. It was a brilliant ball. Hoppy was taken sideline only about 60 seconds ago after getting back to his feet pretty groggily.
Well, a great understanding between those two players. It was a fantastic ball as they shuffle out, and they have been able to just spot and get in behind the Australian players. And look at that ball round the body, and probably just came at Hoppy's at the level of his eyes, just not able to see it cleanly.
There's no doubt he had a little bit of a half chance into the corner if he grabbed it. You just can't afford to let him slip. Double the time in possession. And incredible, right down inside the danger zones as well. Stephen Price, another penalty. But all the time, this is where the frustration can grow with the experience of so many key men in the Aussie lineup who know that they're just the 6 behind. Lazarus. And there's a whole heap of experience getting up on its feet on the 50. Tallis. Great defence over the top. Great enthusiasm. Langer. Fittler. Now they're full of running. Daly. Daly still. Magnificent ball, Lockyer. And what about this for Saylor? Outstanding stuff. Just as we start talking about experience, how about a real touch of class? If you're going to hit back, how about hitting back in absolute style?
Well, the Kangaroos have only had 2 or 3 chances, and this time it comes from a soft penalty for offside. They move the ball out to their left. Laurie Daly waited to seem like an eternity before Saylor was able to catch up. Players on the inside just been jammed up as he goes through the gap. Saylor just able to find him, and look at this pass from Laurie Daly back inside to Lockyer, and it's this pass here. Look how he gets it away. Oh, fantastic from the Australians.
Yes, really against the run of play, wasn't it? It's been all the Kiwis in the first half. Little Alfie Langer, they took it to the middle of the park. Stacey knew what was happening. He's sliding in defence. But Laurie Daly, when he gets a little bit of room, he's always looking for that outside man, the old dummy. Sean Hoppy was caught out of play. When you got big Loz on little Stacey Jones, Laurie's quite a big man. He's always going to get that ball away. A bit of a speculator, but he got there to Darren Lockyer. and the Kiwis just couldn't come in the defence. And broken play, the Australians are so classy, aren't they? And Lockie has passed to Sailor when he sees the line open. What a hit back from the Australian side. That's going to be a real wake-up for the Kiwis now. They're going to have to watch it out wide because these guys can go.
The Brisbane connection in the end. And now Rogers, 72% in the NRL, 23 from 32, not a bad start now to help settle him down. 6 apiece. Kiwis back now after that Australian reply, who we must remind you are making their debut at Stadium Australia in an international. Short restart from the Kiwis, looking for possession, looking to upset things. What a magnificent start.
Your hand to their hand, back to your hand. Yeah.
Now he's going to rule a knock on against Richard Swain, which can be ruled without the ball touching the ground, but all he did was simply play at it and maintain control of it. He was never doing it in a determined fashion. That is a real tough call. Should have been 6 tackles coming up the Kiwis.
Well, for mine, that's a super tough call. What a fantastic variety from the Kiwis.
Showing his disappointment, Frank Endicott, whose side has played quite brilliantly in a very entertaining first 40 this ANZAC Test match. Good ball from Kosev. Tallis. You might just see a little bit of confidence grow now in the world champs after finding themselves a try. Tallis, full of fight. Andrew Johns.
And that's good work from the Kiwis. They know they have to put these big Australian forwards on the ground. They can't let them stand and offload into tackle.
Robbie Kearns. It'll be the last tackle. They've got them 30 metres out still. Langer trying to chip this one as they look out at Vinacolo. And Vinacolo very quickly to his feet. Suggestions all through the week that they'd not only go through the air but put it along the deck to Vinacolo in this game.
Well, that's where he's susceptible to an error with those kicks along the ground, and there's no one who's more an expert at it than Alfie Langer, and expect them to go to Vinacolo each time with their kicking boot.
Mistake made as they tried to pass it back, and they give the Aussies a chance with another fresh set of 6 tackles. Tallis. Midfield. This is the first major mistake at their own end. Fiddler, he coughs it up, gives it straight back. What a bonus. Fiddler just hasn't got himself right into this one yet.
Well, the Kiwis have to be careful that they mark up on the outside of their opposites on a couple of occasions now, especially against the bigger man and the quicker man like Daly, like Fiddler. If they can get on the outside of you, they can cause those problems and those half breaks, and they're good enough players to let that ball go once they're in the tackle.
You've been there plenty of times, Toddy. This is still a real danger period when you know you've had an Australian team in trouble, but you go inside the last 10 before half-time. They seem to always try to put the foot down here.
Well, it's the most important time, 10 minutes before half-time and 10 minutes after, and so many games are won and lost. And the Kiwis, that mistake there could have been costly. Thank God that Fittler turned it up. I really think that they really need just to concentrate on ball security now, just complete their sets of 6. It's been a great half from the Kiwis. They can go in, speak to their coach, Frank Endicott, at 6-all, although I'd love them to score again, but they've done so well. Maybe not push it, because this is where the Aussies can be really dangerous.
Well, that should have been 6 more than New Zealand. Jones is going to try a speculator anyway. It was too easy. Now, the reason I think he kicked was because Cumming ruled against, but that was played at prior to that by Australia. Now it's Daly. Andrew Johns. This is the one that they were screaming for. As you'll see it touched right there by an Australian hand, and Logan Swan couldn't believe it when they weren't given another set. Robbie Kearns. Johns. That'll milk a bit of time out over the sideline as well. Just don't know that Johns is quite comfortable in that hooking position. This was the restart. But they should have been given back as well. And a very high marker that got it up for Richard Swain, but was called back. Tough call.
Well, it's a tactic that's been used by a number of clubs, and on that you think of the Warriors, and a bit of claret there coming out from the Australians, certainly knowing that they're in a tough game out here tonight.
Handling errors have all squared up. Reinacolo getting involved. Good to see him coming from his wing. Richard Swain, extra quick play of the ball. Some tired legs there being caught out. Long, messy, slow play of the ball. Robbie Paul ducking and weaving. Back for Barnett. Beautifully timed in. Not a good ball, but through the hands of Langer. This time they'll get 6 more. No mistake on this occasion. No need to rush it. Can set this one up. Henry Paul. Already we've seen in this first 40 the enormous value of the Paul brothers. Joe Vagana with a great ball. Maybe to the corner. Hoppy this time. Went inside, had Whitney going back outside. Robbie Paul. Short one up. Lowry bouncing out of tackles. Plenty of green and gold rush in for Robbie Paul to spin it wide for Jones. Kicking into the in goal. Lockyer will have to hurry and does. He's lost it. What a try. They've got it. Now he's going to check to see if the ball was played out or stolen. Fittler rushed over.
Right. 2 things. I don't think there was 2 in the tackle.
Now they're going to check it. Whether there was 2 in the tackle on Lockyer or did he lose it? Carl, Kiwis think they've got it. This could really help turn it. Just before half-time. 1 in the tackle. 2 in the tackle and a hand in there. It's got to be a penalty. Knocked out by Barnett, and Jones was still hanging on, so it's a penalty for sure.
Australia will get the penalty from that, and Lockyer having plenty of problems out there and under pressure as wave after wave of this Kiwi attack comes through. Plenty of holes being found out there.
Well, all Barnett needed was Stacey Jones to let go. So they'll get away with it. They breathe again. Lazarus. Still 6 apiece.
Well, Graham, the Kiwis have had perhaps 4 or 5 definite try-scoring opportunities. And as you mentioned earlier, you just have to have the ability to put them in, put points on the end of those.
Tallis with a big run. They might get one down the other end. It just got away from Singh. If it had a sat up, he was under the post. It might still fall. Langer. Got to hang on for this set of 6 after the disappointment down at the Australian end, but Fittler knows how to get it out wide and quickly. Fletcher out amongst the centres. They've only got 1 more. Langer normally goes wide through the air to Saylor. He drives this one pretty low. And Hoppy puts it down. Can he get back? What a tackle from Johns. What strength from the Newcastle Knights. Halfback wearing number 9 tonight. But this might be a tackle that lays on a try.
A typical work from Johns, but look at Tallis. He just glides through, brushes people out of their way, look for support, and they've been good. They've been able to turn the ball back inside. Wendell Saylor, he's been busy tonight. But you just wonder at the end of all of this, just perhaps the kicking from Langer and Johns, not as accurate as what they'd hoped for.
The tackle was unbelievable. Just had to catch it. Now they've got to hang on for another set of 6 inside the last 3 before the break.
Well, the tackle was great, but you get the feeling that Sean Hoppy kind of make it hard for himself. He almost stepped into Johns, who almost got out from under that trouble.
Lazarus. Swain down low. Langer. Daly. Easily gets Darren Smith to the outside of his man. Rogers. Great ball for Smith. Great defence from Talau. Desperate at times from both sides to hang on. Fittler easily setting it up and will get it back. No! So they miss their chance. That should have been under the post, and he knows it. A penalty that will help them hang on and get out of here.
Yeah, good breather for the Kiwis. Jared McCracken getting through a ton of work, coming up with the tackle, and also just getting a slight hand in there from Johns to make sure he couldn't get that ball away. And Fittler staring at a huge hole, perhaps even looking forward that pass.
Well, I think he was looking where he was headed. I think he thought all he had to do was hang on to it, and he was right under the black dot. So chances gone at either end. But enormous pace to this game. And I must admit, myself included, a lot closer from the scoreboard than many thought at this stage of this game, Toddy.
Well, yeah, maybe if you're an Aussie, but not in New Zealand. I always knew it was going to be a good game from the Kiwis. They're so enthusiastic, you know, and you can just tell it. And it starts from the pool boys with Stacey Jones. And Richie Barnett is having a fine game out there. And as Dwayne said, Jared McCracken, I think the two best forwards out there, one for Australia is Gordon Tallis, has had a fine game for Australia, and Jared McCracken is holding the forwards together for the Kiwis.
Well, I think that's a penalty. Andrew Drons, I mean, a great tackle, typical tackle again. And that time Henry Paul coming off worse for wear.
Just a trait in the modern game, is it? Everyone wants to play at the ball when somebody gets to their feet. Get away with 50-50 so many times. Darren Smith slowed down. Still about 30 seconds to hang on before the break. Daly, beautifully picked up. Singh back on the inside. And there will be a Shepherd, I think, against Fletcher. Now, they worked it nicely out wide. Fletcher went through as a decoy, and he grabs Stacey Jones by the jumper and pulls him out of it. So an excellent call from Cummings.
It was a good call from Cummings. Fletcher, very good player, very much a form player. Just grabbing Jones by the jumper.
Last play of this first 40. First ever test at the Olympic Stadium in Sydney for the year 2000. Stadium Australia, and an excellent first 40. Great chances at either end for both sides, mainly for the Kiwis. At the break, 6 apiece. Paul again with this high restart. Will they go short? They are. They're looking for possession to find an early try. Daly climbs. They'll get it all right. Put down by the Australians, so the original one against Daly. You don't often see it in the NRL, but here we are in a test match right at the start of the second half, and they're going to come up with possession.
Yeah, what about the height of these kicks? Getting up there, allowing the players plenty of time to get underneath. Great result for the Kiwis.
And quickly again for Jones, just like they started the first. He was looking for Robbie Paul. Joe Vagana on the inside for Lowry. Had a terrific first half, Lowry. Henry Paul, so did he. Dummies inside, stays outside McCracken. Driving tackle from Fittler. Now for Joe Vagana again. Needs support as he goes to the post. Just 5 metres away. Henry Paul. Well, it's got to be a pretty cheap penalty. Cummings finds Vagana just rolling this one through his legs, but you watch the rest of this half and you'll find about 50 others do it, and Cummings is used to about everybody in Great Britain doing it.
Well, a bit pedantic perhaps, but you know, sometimes yeah, when you see referees pull players up for those, and the majority of them will let go, and they'll pull players for offsides at kickoffs.
What did Chris Anderson have to say at his first half-timer in a test match?
Well, we couldn't get near that dressing room, and there was a bit of ranting and raving going on in there. We couldn't make sense. I was under the tunnel with the legendary Steve Roach blocker, and we were trying to make sense of it. We couldn't do that. But Frank Endicott, as he came out, he just said to both of us, we're going to play the same, exactly the same as the first half. Are we happy? And he did say we're killing the Australians around the halves, and that's what we're going to do. And he just wanted the players to play an exactly same game as that first one.
That last ball up for the Australians, and Endicott's right. I mean, that's just a good sign. They're bustle, bit of hustle that's really got them upset.
It is. It's a variety, and what powerful as Tallis just throws off Jason Lowry.
Great ball from Lockyer for Langer. All of that to upset them, then they put some spark into it. Fittler, still not a comfortable game for him yet. This one's allowed to bounce. They just look at it. They went to Vainikolo. He looked at Barnett. Barnett looked at him, and all of a sudden the stunning situation comes up for the Kiwis. Almost unbelievable. It's finally brought Stadium Australia alive into space, and tons of inexperience after a great run from Tallis.
Well, someone needed to spark up this opening start, and Tallis is the one. But the kick, it goes up, and everybody's left it alone. The Kiwis will be absolutely filthy. Vainikolo need to hurry back with some urgency. He was just sort of slow, and you never let a ball bounce. It'll go either way.
Yeah, it's just bad communication there by the New Zealand side. You can see there's two players with their backs to the Australian player coming through. It was too late. The Australians are there. They're back in this game while they're in the lead, and this is the most important time. Smith's pretty happy about that.
Well, he's not going to score any easier ones. And right alongside the post too. 5th test try for Matt Rogers. Talk about a breakdown in communications. How about none? Rogers. Remarkable turnaround in a flash at 12-6. Just looked at each other. Vainikolo had to attack the ball, had to go infield. So did Barnett. Darren Smith can't believe it. Fittler can. Another short restart. This time not a problem for Fittler. So that's the other side of the coin for the high restarts. The Australians on early tackles will already be out past the 40. That's the risk factor, and the Australians have just scored a try, and they'll be looking for another one to really put their foot down. Kearns. Jason Smith hasn't got himself into the game either yet. Andrew Johns made the markers commit themselves. Tallis has been the handful, and Tallis right through down to Barnett inside the 20. Every time he's done something, it's led to a try. Jason Smith. Langer. Quite a debate about that last pass from Langer. Lockyer basketballs it over the top. Likewise Langer. Fittler leaves it behind, and they put it down. So there might have been a bit of justice in that. One of those balls looked to be forward.
Well, you talk about justice, all right. Boy, and Fittler, that's the second one he's put down. He could have been well under the post then.
Interesting story behind Fittler, who writes a couple of columns in Australia in the press, and he was quoting before the test selection that he was far from happy with his own form.
Well, I think players in the calibre of Fittler, you're never really happy with your game, and you can play an absolute blinder like he does on most occasions. You're always putting the acid on yourself to be the best you can be. And it's the likes with so many good players, ball players in the Australian side. The Kiwis now, especially at this stage in the match, will have to watch the likes of Daly and Langer as they get more heavily involved.
Just somebody needed to go straight. It'll be Barnett on the fly. Barnett, great kick. Didn't need to really get up and try and play at that. But again, they just offer it up for the Australians to climb back. Once again, to take the pressure off. You wonder about that controversial week. This is the fine chip from Jones up for Barnett. Great combination between the two. Combination built on that last tour of Great Britain. But you wonder about that controversial week, Toddy, and the experience of Daly, who many thought would still have been captain.
Well, I would have thought he was a lay-down misère captain, really, and maybe that's what's affected Brad Fittler. He hasn't had the best of games out there, and sometimes just with the pressure of, you know, being captain of a side like this, there's been a lot of controversy this week, and maybe someone like Laurie Daly, who's got a lot more experience, would have been well suited as captain, and Brad could have just gone out there and played his usual game. But hey, it's good for the Kiwis. If he's off his game, gives us more of a show.
Langer. Well, that's why we mentioned about the kicking game along the deck, that they were confident to put it to Vinocola. Just that feeling that he's always coming up with some fumbles. But how about some of the strength and the pace? That ball's stolen, and so openly. Sailor throws it down in disgust and gives up 10 metres. I mean, I don't know what Sailor's complaining about. It's the most blatant penalty you're going to get all night.
And a good run by Vinocola. Has to get straight back into the game, and a bustling run. Sure is a big man. If he can get some space 2 or 3 wide of the ruck and not just get out from dummy half, but look at Wendell Sailor, absolutely filthy on it.
You've got to laugh. You really got to laugh about that one. Put him straight in the front row, Toddy.
He certainly spat the dummy, didn't he?
Lowry just hangs on to this one. This is where they've got to nail it. After Australia got that surprise try, they've got to get one themselves. Jones. McCracken. Robbie Paul on the inside. Kalis. Australians maintain that line. Switch goes back to Jones. Looking for runners. McCracken without. Wiki. He's having a terrific tussle with Smith and Daly. On the last, Jones. Out to Vinocola. Here it comes for Rogers again. Vinocola, it's anybody's. Kiwis have got this one. The tactics have been so clear all night. And can you believe that it will come up again? Everybody wants to let the ball bounce. Nobody wants to do the right thing and simply catch it.
Well, I think they'll just have a look to see whether Vinocola actually took the man out as he came over the top. I think he just got away and he didn't really interfere with him.
See if there's a hand here and knocked forward. Touched. Now, was he dragged down to that? I mean, I think it's a pretty fair tussle. Yes. The ball was not knocked forward.
That is a dead set try. A great try from New Zealand. Now, I think the last test before they all picked on Darren Lockyer. This time, they're really trying to give it to Matt Rogers. They've found a weakness there. Great stuff from Frank Endicott. He's found a weakness in Matt Rogers, and it's going to work for them. There will definitely be a try.
Put out the green light and stay in your chair, Tony. They've got the comeback. Logan Swan. Plenty of black and white out there on Rogers, and they have felt the heat. th Test appearance. Just waiting for the replay to check it out himself here on the massive screens here at Stadium Australia. And Henry Paul with this tester from the try to lock it up again. Struck it beautifully off both posts. Incredible. Struck both woodworks. 12-10. Terrific test match. Not a bad way to break the ice. Homebush Bay and Stadium Australia. Terry Hermanson, the Kiwis, full of belief about themselves.
There was talk this week in the Australian media that they felt that with the Kiwis going into this match without a specialist or well-recognised goal kicker could work against them. On that opportunity, Henry Paul just scraping the post. Every point is valuable for the Kiwis.
Lowry can't get rid of Andrew Johns. Can't think about a mistake at this end. Got to be so careful. Henry Paul for Stacey Jones. Kalis. And for Jones on the short side. To go down behind Matt Rogers. Out towards the sideline, just breaking back in if it stays in play. Probably would have been a better kick for them, but once again they'll send the Australians back inside the 10 and a 40-20. What a play from Stacey Jones. They'll come up with the feed. Chance to grab another try.
Oh, that's fantastic options from Stacey Jones. Certainly weighs it up. He was looking for the sideline. He knew that if they were to get a scrum feed, again, they'll look to put Robbie Paul standing wide from the base of the scrum. They may look to even screw it again.
Well, this is such a setup now. Just watch as the Kiwis try to screw the Australian scrum back towards this near sideline. Try and spin it out and open it up for Jones and Paul. Robbie Paul. Bit of room. Barnett. Away from Price. Away from everybody nearly. Just 2 metres out. Henry Paul. He's been allowed so much latitude in that dummy half position. Logan Swan. Robbie Paul looking for somebody to go straight. It's Hoppy. Big numbers in defence though. Robbie Paul. Jason Lowry. Every time they've looked for somebody to do all the hard work, he's been there with both hands up. Me. Jones. Cutting men out for Logan Swan. Kalis. Rogers on Vinocola. He was off balance. Made a brilliant tackle. Ended up with 2 and 3 rushing at him. And he came up with the goods.
Well, I think he could have been almost pinged for the penalty, as in the second movement it looked as if he even pulled his legs over the sideline. Have a look at this. Matt Rogers, brave attempt, goes down low. Vinocola's in at that stage. Splitting hairs, I guess.
We'll let you off. Possession so needed by Australia now as Rogers brings it away.
And Graham, you think about the last 2 tries, just as we look at Hermanson going in, just having a bit to say to him, but if we think about those last 2 tries and the kicks, what seemed like simple kicks to take, perhaps just in the night, maybe the lights out there, if it's playing a part and these players just losing sight of the ball.
It's just that finish again though. Just keep on thinking about that finish when they get their opportunities, some that they've missed tonight, to give themselves some breathing space to get away on the scoreboard. Then you find a Tallis or a Sailor from just a couple of moments who came up with the big play. Long time for him to get back up on his feet. Fittler, great hands under pressure, likewise Lockyer, and great take from Daly. And he wants to put it down and hang it into this in goal with a long chase against Barnett. He's got tons of support. Price. Now they've turned it around nearly the full 100 metres after that last set.
And that's smart play from Daly. He knows his side has to be patient. They don't have to chase this game and score every time they touch the ball or feel like they've got to just throw it out the back door. They know if they can just win this arm wrestle at the moment. It's been a good struggle between these 2 sides.
Vinocolo continues to give lie to that form at Canberra. Certainly enjoyed the better of possession, the Kiwis. Logan Swan. Stolen, there was 2 in the tackle. It was stolen, had to be a penalty. Langan knew it, gave himself up.
Have a look at Langer. He goes up high and he just says, "Sir, you got me."
We have the penalties by 3 also. And doing the little things pretty smartly. Just the runs from dummy half, controlling possession. Hermanson, another with a big effort tonight. Matt Rua, full of running, and a good quick play the ball to turn them around. Gets them on their back heels for Joe Buganar, just to pick up about 15, maybe 18 metres. Bit of a mess in the play the ball. Henry Paul, well, he knows more about this tonight, just finding his way right up the middle, inside the 10. Tackler's just dropping off to set it up for Jones to go wide. Needs a runner quickly on the inside. Barnett put it down, had a little bit of a peek. Coughed it up again when they had them stretched.
They had to make that one count. Looking good, the Kiwis. Every time they've got the ball, they've got a number of players just managing to step free of those Australian tackles. Whether it's Robbie or Henry Paul, they spin, they jink, they weave. So hard to contain.
Kosef with a great ball. Lockyer. Bit of an open field for him to go back inside off the boot of Fittler. That's okay. Well played. And now he loses it. Hoppy's got it, and he sends the Kiwis away. Terrific counter-attack. Tallis has to go across to slow things down on Robbie Paul. Brewer. They spent a lot of time defending their own line, the Australians, most especially the first 25 minutes of this test. Pretty hard, Toddy, to get a real handle on this game as far as the Aussie performance are concerned, because they've been under so much pressure, but they really have been disjointed, haven't they?
Well, they certainly are. You know, in the forwards, as I said, our forwards seem to be getting on top. They, except for Gordon Tallis out there, you know, he's having a tremendous. He's really holding the Australian forwards together. But how often would you see a guy like Brad Fittler drop a ball 3 times in a game? Not very often, so he's certainly off his game. You know, the Australians are really struggling, and that's why we're seeing guys like Wendell Saylor and their wingers. They're coming in to help the forwards because they are really doing it tough. The New Zealand forwards, on the other hand, are going forward. They're getting good, quick play the balls, and they're playing smart football. New Zealand are looking much stronger than the Australians at this stage.
Just haven't got the chalk where it counts on the board. Matt Rogers, as Toddy was suggesting, getting in there to lend the forwards a hand. They have it by 2. Langer. Fletcher will have Fittler inside, who should be under the post. Gets the pass right, and Fittler won't be able to go to the post, but he'll go to the corner. Again, the difference. Down the other end 3 and 4 times, couldn't get it. But the experience of knowing when that half chance is there, we better grab this one.
The opportunity's not coming from set play, but just coming from broken play, second phase play, just getting outside David Kidwell, finding a huge hole, and Fittler just too quick and too big on his feet. He won't be dragged back from there.
Yeah, beautiful pass there from Alfie Langer. There it is there. Uses Tallis as the decoy, and I suppose if you look at this Australian side, they can call on guys like this. Fletcher from the bench, who can come on, make half gaps. Look at him looking at the support. Brad Fittler's there. He's got support inside and out. And this Australian side with their bench, there is, well, it's a complete unit, isn't it? And a guy like that can come on, a nice little inside pass to Brad, which I thought may have been a little bit forward. Not speaking that because I'm just a Kiwi. Looked a little bit forward. Stacey puts on the chase, but Brad just trying to make up for those 3 drop balls and puts Australia ahead.
Good chase from Stacey Jones to keep the kickers out wide. If Fletcher had gone in here hard and quickly to commit the fullback, it would have helped Fittler head towards the post, but it just slowed down a little. But a good chase from Jones. Fittler, tough night out for him. Grabs his 8th test try at just the right time for his country. The skipper, who knows his side, need to dig even deeper still midway through this second 40. Rogers from out wide. One of the best in the business. And there's a pretty fair reason why. 18-10. Fletcher started it, Rogers finished it with a kick. Now it's really on after all the effort for the Kiwis. Now they've got to forget about what might have been with so many opportunities missed. They've got to go out and finish off in a real hurry.
They do. I think the Australians, when they come up with those sorts of plays, it really does break your back. They haven't had that many clean opportunities or clean line breaks, but each one they've made them count. And that time you just wondered, David Kidwell had only just come on looking at line breaks. 7-4 in favour of the Australians. And as I was saying, Graham, with David Kidwell just coming on, perhaps just not fresh, just not enough in the legs to really stretch out. And Brian Fletcher just got on the outside of me easily.
Still so much time on the clock, but this is the real threat now from the Australians, who get that comfort zone with 8 points, and they will immediately try and nail it. Don't know why anybody would let this ball bounce. Got no idea why. Now you're going to be hurt. Why stand and look at that? Now there's the bonus. This is where they get a sniff of a chance to try and bury you.
Well, if he had caught the ball on the full, if it was deep enough, it was already inside. No, it was outside the goal, but perhaps just thinking it was going to go out. And again, a great chase on the end of a good kick. And each time these Australians turn the Kiwis round, you wonder about the fitness with some of these players coming out of reserve grade competition, or perhaps the tiredness of a long flight for the Paul brothers.
Ready?
Well, we're into the real money trail now. Business section of this test match. Rogers back for Price. Been individual performances from the Australians that have kept them in the hunt when they were under pressure, from guys like Tallis. Daly with a couple of good hands in the try early. But mistakes like that under pressure haven't helped as far as the rhythm is concerned. Just over 30,000 here, 30,245. It's Stadium Australia, biggest test crowd since Brisbane of '93. Feels a bit funny when you're standing and saying in that, or in a stadium that holds 110.
Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic stadium, even though it's the crowd not filling the stadium. Still a great atmosphere.
Jason Lowry. One more tackle. Bit of magic required next by the Kiwis. Rogers leaves this one for a long time. He's had his confidence tested right throughout. Darren Smith. No stranger to taking up the middle. Prefers the second row or lock forward position rather than playing out in the centres. Fletcher. Webke just coughs it up. Last try has taken a little bit of spark from New Zealand. Henry Paul, Robbie Paul will do their best to restart that. Good straight shoulder in there from Richard Swain to push that one out. Dozen handling errors against the Aussies. 10 for the Kiwis. Don't need one here in this set of 6. Need to finish this. Robbie Paul, good ball! Willie Tallow with a chance. Vunacolo to the corner against Lockyer. Too much strength, they've got it. When required, they've come up again. They hit back. As Australia threatened to get away, but a terrific ball up to Willie Tallow to put him outside his man.
Great reading from the Kiwis. Nathan Kalish knows it's on wide. It's just a matter of shifting the ball, and it's this run here as Willie Tallow gets his arms free. And this guy here, too big, too strong. That's fantastic for the young bloke.
Yes, great stuff from Robbie Paul. Just have a look when he gets this ball. A little in and out, inside pass, a little fake. There it is. Just holds up the defence just that little bit. You can see number 4 from Australia out, and of course the defence just not strong enough, and you're never going to stop a man like this. It reminds me of big Melbourne Inga coming straight down on you. Look at that. Little in and away. Lockyer's got no show, and the Kiwis are straight back in. Beautiful stuff.
Celebrates in a big way. So will Tallow, who got to the outside of his centre teammate at Canterbury, Darren Smith. Smith got caught out by Paul, and Vunacolo with plenty of room. He's going to come up with the goods all the time in situations like that. Not a bad way to start your test career. Now, Henry Paul hit the woodwork from wide with his second one. This one will be hooked. Still Australia, 18-14. Australia threatened to get away. They couldn't.
Hang on. Whoa,
Still looking back over their shoulders. Bit of a false start. Probably see a few more of those here next year at the Olympics.
You've been rehearsing that one, haven't you, mate?
I'm just thinking about you if you ever lined up here in the 100 dash. Would be here for a few days, I think.
Hey, watch me go.
Just away from the 20. Running repairs for Joe Vagana. Matt Rua has let nobody down when he's got out there from the bench.
Matt Rua has been very good. He knows his job, just to get over the advantage line, offer a quick play of the ball. Both he, well, in fact, all the new debutants and these young players doing fantastic work, getting over the advantage line, doing their work, allowing now for the ball to be shifted wide.
Nice and wide, and a good chance too for David Kidwell. Can they get it home? So many extra sets in possession. And that has really put it to the Australian defence, which has come up with the goods a number of times close to their own line. Lockyer, back for Saylor. Kearns. Can't help but think still about that try that was laid on by Fletcher. Probably still have the bigger bullets, if you like, or the more bullets to fire from that bench, the Australians, Toddy.
Well, I mean, we talked about that, how their reserves or their bench can come on like this guy and create things, but still, you know, I've got to say that this New Zealand side, you know, they're not buckling under pressure. They're not like, you know, 18-10 down and they're still doing the little things right. And when you start doing those little things wrong and get a little bit bustled, you know, things go against you. But they're really holding so strong, their defence, their line, they're moving up nice and quick. They're trying to slow the play, the balls down. It's just an all-round great effort.
No doubt about it. Strong odds on into the test. And the underdogs with the real threat of winning this one. Just another reminder, yet another reminder in this game of the talent of the Paul brothers. I think everybody will be beating a path to their door, just trying to check out the duration of contracts in the north of England.
This set here perhaps could be one of the most crucial ones for the Kiwis. At this stage of the game, they just need to make sure they don't come up with an error here and look for a deep, long kick.
Robbie Paul up the middle, great ball up. Ricky will have a little bit of room now, thinks about Kalis. Kalis to go wide, can he get it out there? Kicks, will it stay? It will. Smith will have to play at it. Just needed one more bit of support. Who wants to tackle him? Well, Stacey Jones played at it when it was all too late, but bit of a Mexican standoff. He just needed one ball, and again the dummy half run.
Oh, straight up the middle, and they will have to watch Robbie and Henry Paul. And look at this, how he positions himself perfectly. Nathan Kelly's excellent work. Had a look for Sean Hoppy. He didn't read the play. He was left behind. Comes up with a good option on the kick. And that's what we're talking about, just maintaining this pressure, maintaining their composure. Darren Smith, Stacey Jones, all arms at him.
Wonder, having a look at that replay, whether or not that should have gone against Stacey Jones for pushing it out. Wasn't quite sure of the finish there, the photo finish, whether Smith had already gone dead. But they come back with this chance to lock it up or grab some lead. Inside, Wiki. Outstanding test match from him. Hung on so many times, Australia. Now it's going to be Robbie Paul. Got the first try. Just 5 away still. Henry Paul deserves one. What a ball up for Robbie. Couldn't hang on to it as he was looking right next to the post. Brothers got together. It was a difficult one down low.
Well, it's probably something they've practiced out in the backyard. I'll run and pass to you. Just not coming off. Continuing to persist with turning the ball back inside. And perhaps at this stage, really, maybe they need to just shift the ball a couple wider and get themselves positioned a bit wider.
All I've got to do is blow a penalty.
Just the 4 points in this ANZAC test match. Lockyer. Kosef. Ball and all, still some punishing defence. Rogers. One of many in the green and gold who have had a tough night out. More than uncomfortable. Kearns. Incredible amount of defence they've had to make. Still time, still plenty of time for the Kiwis not to rue some of the chances they haven't finished off. On the last, Langer. Down deep to the in goal for Barnett. The chase is a good one. Ball just stops for Barnett to be able to bring it back. Jason Smith easily defeated. Likewise Fittler. So a great comeback from Barnett.
Well, Jason Smith disgusted. He went up on his own. The rest of the chase had hung back.
20 missed tackles as well. Fair bit of tiredness in all of that, though. Willie Tallow. Fletcher was never in front of the man playing the ball. This is where they'll go into overdrive, pick up the pace again. Just not in front ever of Hoppy. He got a warning, made a play at it. Cummings picked him off. Hermanson. Joe Vaganar from miles back. Good tackle on him. Jones wants somebody inside. Robbie Paul's the man to step. And still keep it alive for Willie Tallow. Touched, knocked down by Rogers. He's going to check with the touch judge. So they'll still have the feed. New Zealand, and just 15 metres away. Rogers can't believe it, said he knocked it back towards his own line. Argues with the touch judge. I might want to check on this, but Cummings has already made the call. Well, it was played at and knocked down, knocked on by Rogers. Wide is Robbie Paul. Barnett into the line. Wrong foot's Fittler. Great cover out there from Kosef. Kidwell. Can they keep their composure? So many chances. They've just got to find the right way through. Hermanson, run around for Jones. No way. Langer got in there. Wiki. Henry Paul. Robbie Paul. Jones. The dangerous threesome now shuffled out to Logan Swan. Inside still for Kidwell. Awkward one for Jones. Picks up the dregs. He still manages to keep it alive. Logan Swan. He'll do likewise. Henry Paul. Numbers corner. Hermanson. Votacolo on Rogers. Votacolo just nabbed. Magnificent football. Tallow for Hermanson. Trapped, they'll go down to the last. Yet again they hang on. One more tackle. Jones to bomb away. Under a little bit of pressure from Smith. Not a good one. Australia don't need to play. And Hoppy came down with it, put it down. Yet again they survive. Great character from them. Now Saylor will put the foot down.
The Kiwis will have to get back on defence and number up. Dangerous to the Australians. They know they've got to sniff out and get a lot of urgency when they ruck this ball away. But what about the chances? Great pass from Hermanson going wide, seen by Nicolo.
Incredible defence from the Aussies, Toddy.
Yeah, well, it was, but it looks to me as if they're really shot. They're really doing it tough out there, and I suppose it comes from defending like that. It takes so much petrol out of you, the Australians. They're bringing on a few reserves. They're doing it real tough. New Zealand look just so sharp.
Daly getting away from Logan Swan, looking wide. Still not finished off. Now he is on the last tackle. They're trying to nail it now and finish this test match off. Smith just chipping for Singh. The Kiwis get back. Still open, still antibodies. 5.5 remain.
Great game of football, end-to-end stuff.
Well, we've got a touch judge in. Kiwis in possession. Suggestions. This one is going to go Australia's way.
Okay, Jared, where's he? Where's the penalty over there? Shall we got the penalty? Where is it? Jared? Hey, fellas, go away. Let's move back. Right, listen to the report.
The ball gone, he's taking the player out late and high.
Okay, it's against you, mate. It's over here.
Unbelievably important penalty that'll put 6 points in it.
Is the penalty here?
Against the captain, McCracken. You heard it all. Stuart Cummings couldn't do anything about it. Full on a touch judge's report. Rogers with an easy one. I must admit I didn't see a lot in it. I was following the ball at the time. And that was that magnificent run from Daly.
Well, they all thought Daly was going to kick. He saw the hole, went straight through. And it's not on that play, but it's the one coming up.
Well, On reflection, he was taken high, didn't need to make the tackle, just didn't need to. And high against Jason Smith.
Yeah, he's got him high, and that one, although it won't put the game beyond the Kiwis' reach with time on the clock.
Get yourself set for a short restart. They get a 6-point breather. 20-14. If ever they needed it back, everybody knows that they've tried it a number of times tonight to come up with possession from this restart. The Australians to guard against it. And Henry Paul, just to set it up for one of the tall men, maybe Logan Swan. It's there if they can get there in time. Logan Swan, they will get it. Outstanding effort from them. Willie Tallau. What a finish this would set up. Robbie Paul.
The Kiwis just need to make sure that they play over the advantage line. They've been a wee bit guilty of standing and passing and not getting over that advantage line. On the other hand, that's what the Australians are doing well.
Jones. Brewer to settle things down. Joe Vagana run around with little Jones. Now Barnett through his hands. Henry Paul with a step. Tallis with a ball and all tackle to shut it down on the inside. He looks to be badly hurt. He fell very awkwardly. Henry Paul had a chance on the inside, and Tallis knew he had to get there in time to assist Daly.
And watching Henry Paul, he's been fantastic the whole game, those half breaks, and Tallis had to cover the inside and just going down on his with a neck injury perhaps. A lot of concern being paid to him out there.
And again we saw Fittler beaten. Did him with the step on the inside. Tallis, he's had a big game in the forwards, one of the few to shine.
He's been fantastic, Tallis. And Daly's come into his own in the second spell. And you just watch as Tallis rolls him over. He's either copped one. I don't think Daly's caused him any problems.
Now trainers have called for a stretcher. Immediate concern from Tallis and Daly. What a game he's had. Thought he recovered pretty quickly. He started talking to Daly. Players in those situations so quickly to pinch a nerve.
It has been an absolute tough game with some great tackle accuracy. No one likes to look at these situations here, but he was talking to Daly, so you get the feeling that perhaps he's aware of the situation as Henry Paul.
Just checking with the doctor. 30,245 at Stadium Australia for this test. They've seen a real good one too. Wagner just set it up for Stacey Jones, and we just saw through this passage of play. Now you'd like to see Henry and Robbie, Toddy, wrap themselves up in a Warriors jumper as well.
Well, you said it there. I mean, if we could get them over there with him, Stacey, and with those two and Stacey together, they would be just lethal, wouldn't they, each weekend? And this is such a sad sight to see. They've both had such strong games, but so have all the Kiwis out there. They should be really proud of themselves tonight. I mean, they've gone into this game without their captain, Quinton Pongia. And there's been a few upsets, you know, injury-wise to this Kiwi side. The bookmakers and the TAB over here absolutely wrote the Kiwis off. But they've played very, very strongly, and, you know, they all should be very proud. But as you say, I would love to have those Paul brothers, Henry and Robbie, playing for the Warriors. That would be just great.
I'll stick my hand up as well, Toddy. I thought they couldn't do it tonight. Didn't think they'd get close. But he's back on his feet. Applause from Daly. Great sportsman that he is. I want to talk about bringing these guys home and playing for the Warriors. How about we wander down Queen Street and check out all the banks? It's going to need more than one to bring them.
you might want to dip into your own pocket. There's plenty there, isn't it? And Dr. Mary Holden taking plenty of concern over Henry Paul, but good to see him up on his feet.
Wonderful game from both of them.
When you talk about the ease from which he beat Fittler, perhaps not on his game tonight. Well, definitely not on his game.
Deservedly will get enormous support from this crowd at Stadium Australia for the entertainment he's provided tonight and what he's done for New Zealand in this Test match. This long hold up in the game, though, helping Australia, who are under enormous pressure. Time for them to settle. Wagner. Barnett still looking to find some numbers wide. Now inside, put down. No doubt about it. Benefit was all for the green and gold after that one. I'll probably get one more chance at it after all of this, though.
Well, a set play, and it just, you know, the problem with the runaround is it allowed players to come up. Even though they'd come up quick, they managed to slide. And that ball going back on the inside, Matt Rua not being able to come up with it cleanly.
Shows you how well they do read their defensive plans. Rogers, a number of players that slid across and got there in real big support.
Well, they do. They let the play unfold, but they also get up off their line and actually go up first rather than slide.
Matt Singh hasn't had a lot of game time out there, but has looked dangerous a couple of times. Now Jason Smith inside. Price. Jason Smith, half a chance out for Daly to take on Hoppy. Former teammates at Canberra. I mentioned they should get one more chance, getting late in the count against Australia. They need just to hang on and pull off a miracle in the last set of 6. Tallis still silent from the far wing to link up with Smith. Smith to take it inside the 20 on the last tackle. Langer might even think about a field goal. He's got a mile of time to wrap it up if he wants one. He's going to go for a chip to the in goal, try and get it back. Robbie Paul, clever play, outstanding play. Kiwis were thinking about maybe one more set of 6. Langer says no, we'll grab the last set.
Well, I think Richard Barnett's under a bit of an injury problem. He just could not get across to that ball, and it gave up well on the chase. Alan Langer reading the situation perfectly.
An old hand, but an excellent hand. They go short again. Darren Smith stays away from the sideline. Just a 1 point to put it totally out of reach, but time against, down to the last 60 seconds nearly. Jason Smith. The outstanding brothers out there tonight have been the Pauls. Darren Smith was some remarkable defence tonight to save a few situations. Now Fittler. Terrific ball up for Matt Rogers to support him. He tried to get it back to Price. Langer right in front of the post if he wants to take it. Goes wide. Want to finish it with a try. Johns, they might. To the corner for Darren Smith. On Vainikolo! They'll check it upstairs. Wasn't just Cummings who called for the man upstairs, it was Barnett. Just a half chance to the corner with Darren Smith and Vainikolo. Don't think any of them are confident about this one.
Well, he's such a good player, Darren Smith, and you just watch, I think Vainikolo, he's short.
Well, after all of that, there'll be a scrum with 30 seconds left on the clock. Just 30 seconds. Plenty who believe in miracles.
Well, they've just got to throw the ball and you can't play a tackle. But look at the ease that Darren Smith got around Vainikolo.
Nice save from Willie Talau. Robbie Paul with the kick and chase. Plenty of hope behind all this. Saylor doesn't have to hurry, won't matter now. They've known they've been in a test match. And I, like many, thought that trying to blood so many young guys tonight might have been too hard. Far from real impressive, outstanding test, though. They've had to work so hard to get home. They christened the new stadium in a Rugby League International with victory. Could have been anybody's. Defence more than anything, the outstanding factor for the Australians at 20-14. Got to think that that forward battle was so strong. Tallis, a big performer, especially in the first 40, when they were under so much pressure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, they were, and Tallis done it all on his own in that forward pack. I think Wetke, Nick Kosef, a few of them didn't really fire some shots. And I think Toddy mentioned that the Kiwis can be very proud of this effort. Really went into this match underdone with preparation and a lot of disruptions to their starting lineup. But a fantastic effort from them. Certainly made a lot of inroads getting through this Australian defence, just not coming up with the points.
Certainly not just that. There's all the positives to come out of this for people like Vainikolo, who got dropped from the major lineup at the Raiders. The recent weeks of injuries and suspensions and performances of the Warriors, this has really sparked it up, should provide a lot of the Warriors some lift going into their next NRL clash. The Kraken ended up with the captaincy out of this test match after Pongia withdrew from injury. You've got to be very happy with the performance, most especially the performance of the Pauls. Let's take you down to Toddy and Jared McCracken.
Well, Jared, I know it's a loss, but gee, you've got to be so impressed with the performance from the Kiwi side tonight.
Yeah, mate, the boys played well. You know, we had a job to do, and that we kept the task at hand, and you know, we kept it pretty simple, and it paid dividends for us. But as you know, a bit of luck didn't go our way. I thought we could have put on another couple of tries in the first half, but that wasn't to be. And you know, we did ourselves proud. You know, like everyone wrote us off, but you know, everyone in the team can hold their head up high, and you know, it wasn't a win, but maybe it's got to be encouraging, that sort of performance.
Around the halves, you were so strong. You just killed them. You know, Stacey Jones, the Paul brothers, such great footballers, aren't they?
Yeah, mate. Well, it's the first time New Zealand's had the luxury of you know, young blokes as the Paul brothers and Stacey Jones, and they can keep in that position. You know, they've built that up over a couple of years now, and you know, it's a world-class combination, and you know, that's